Welcome again. Becoming a publicly traded company, certainly a milestone for businesses that boom. The latest Indiana company to achieve the feat is Arrive AI, an autonomous delivery network headquartered in Indianapolis. This month, company leaders and excited shareholders traveled to New York to ring the NASDAQ opening bell in celebration. Dan O'Toole is the chairman of the board. He shared with us details on that and the new global partnerships for the company.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
I'm Dan O'Toole. I'm the CEO at Arrive AI. We're based here in Fishers, Indiana. It started as a dream back in 2014. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I had this huge idea that was going to be quite massive to roll out, and I started working on it. And it started with my foundational patent that I was awarded in 2017, beat Amazon by 4 days, the Postal Service by 2 weeks, others by less than a month. And I just executed on that, built a team, got investment for the last several years, and today we're public on the NASDAQ. That's not the end of the dream though, that's just really the beginning. That's where we start. To do what we're doing is a big lift. We're changing infrastructure and last mile logistics, forever. So we've crowdfunded for the last 4 years, and we raised $12 million during that period, but we could never really get ahead of our burn rate. So to do something substantial, we needed to get access to the public capital markets. The NASDAQ reached out to us about 3 years ago and said, hey, we love what you guys are doing. We're always looking for the next big thing. We think this could be it. So when you go public, we hope you'll pick the NASDAQ. And they took this cool photo of a message that they put up on the NASDAQ tower in Times Square, kind of announcing our company. We're really proud of that. So over the last 4 years, we had opportunities to go public with other publicly traded companies. And I always said, hey, which exchange do you want to trade on? I said the NASDAQ, because they showed this picture of us. And I was very loyal to that. So for one reason or another, those deals didn't culminate. But when the last one didn't happen, I said, you know what, we're going to go it alone. We're going to control our own destiny. So we teed up our own listing on NASDAQ. We didn't, hook up with anybody else. We did it ourselves. I'm really proud of that. And on May 15th, we were able to go public and start trading. We rang the bell on July 3rd. Those two things didn't quite synchronize because I always had this romantic idea of ringing the bell the first day we traded. But there's a big long line to ring the bell, usually about 4 months. And I didn't want to hold off on trading because we'd worked so hard to get there. So I said, you know what, we're gonna trade the first day we can, and we're gonna get in line immediately. Maybe there'll be a cancellation date. We can jump in quickly, and that's what happened. So July 3rd, we were able to go out and ring the bell in New York on our stock that started trading May 15th. Yeah, what's happening, going public is a big spotlight, right? Adds credibility. The whole world knows, just in Indiana, there's only 39 publicly traded companies based here in Indiana, and we're proud to say we're the 39th. But that just opens up so many doors. It adds credibility. People want to work with companies that have that kind of credibility and market prowess, and we're proud of that. And so we've announced a partnership with Sky Air in India. We've announced stateside partnerships as well. Our engagement is up, thousands of percentages since being pre-public. So it's a great way to go. I'm really proud of what we've done, how we've gotten here, and how we're executing on that. Yeah, if you put $1 into this company, it's your company. You're a co-owner with me, and we treat you that way, and we're very proud of that. I think I was mentioning, we just rang the bell in New York. We had nearly 400 people out there. One of the largest showings of a bell ringing ever. In fact, the NASDAQ could barely accommodate us. So I'm lucky we didn't have 401 people. Somebody would have been outside looking in. But, so I think I mentioned the culture we've built here is one of ownership, and everybody feels like you're part of the team. I take calls, I put my phone number out that I've had for 35 years. We have 5,000 shareholders going pre-public, and many of them are in my Rolodex, and I talk to them regularly. But in a lot of cases, people spent more money to come out to New York and to ring the bell with us than they actually invested in the company. And I think that is awesome. I think that demonstrates everything we know and believe. It shows how people feel really engaged in what we're doing, and you can't put a price on that. You just can't duplicate that. Yeah, everyone's life has changed if you're with this company or investing or partnering. It's changing very rapidly, and it's really amazing. The thing I would say about that is Sky Air, when they came to us, the most astonishing thing that they said that validated everything I believe since 2014 is they said Arrive is the most important part of the last mile delivery ecosystem. It's not us as a drone company, it's not a robot company. Those are all kind of commodities. But this little piece of real estate where every delivery starts and ends with great connectivity, leveraging AI and big data, that's us. That's the ecosystem really needs that. We feel like we're unlocking the 100% of all the savings and efficiency that's happening in the last mile through autonomy because we're in that ecosystem. You know, I'm from Indiana. I grew up here. I love Indiana values. I want to do something meaningful here in the Midwest. As we went to raise capital over the last several years, obviously the coasts are where the action is. But don't discount Indiana or the heartland. One of the things I was always really proud of is this great team that we put together. I felt like we were kind of thrown into the deep end of the pool, dealing with Wall Street, lawyers, accountants, investment bankers, all that, and we always held our own. I was always proud of that. I always came out of every meeting saying, "Hey guys, great job." I have a phenomenal team. I couldn't have done it by myself. Give all my credit to my team. It's like the biggest homework assignment you've ever done times 1,000, and we did it. We're here today, and I'm still pinching myself every day, Peggy. It's all these validating calls, outreach from all over the world. 11 years ago, when I had the idea, I was reaching out to people, sharing it, and people thought I was crazy. But I came up with this mantra: if you have a futuristic idea and people don't think you're crazy, you're too late. So I believed in what we're doing. I believe that the notion of all this autonomous delivery, whether you're shipping something and starting on the ground or delivering something to the ground, is a non-starter. No wholesale autonomous delivery will happen at scale without a secure access point in that ecosystem, and that's us, Arrive AI.
This week, Arrive AI announced plans to triple its workforce by adding 40 new team members, a direct response to its aggressive global expansion and scaling platform services. We'll have more information on how you can contact them through our website. Get our digital part in there, just follow the QR code. If you want to keep track of how publicly traded Indiana companies are doing, you can find out real-time stock information on our new Business Equity and Opportunity stock ticker. Look for it at the top of our landing page. Coming up, highlights from this year's Indiana Black Expo Summer Celebration. And coming up later.
And so when we talk about finding a CPA, what we typically talk about is how do I go about doing that? And there's some general questions that people ask, high-level FAQs. We recommend, just like you would with your doctor, speaking to a few different practitioners. If you can use Google, certainly, but you might want to use people within your business network. So talking to your banker, talking to your colleagues who maybe work around you, and making sure that you get some good recommendations to kind of start that search.
Every year, teachers spend an average of $800 providing critical school supplies for students in their classrooms. Let's change that with Wish TV's 11th annual Great Paper Push. Now, through August 1st, you can make a difference in a child's education by donating school materials for students in Indiana. Visit wishtv.com/paper to find a donation site near you, and let's make 2025 the best year yet.
Presented by Financial Center First Credit Union and Wish TV.